Imagine two strangers, one with a missing puzzle piece and the other with an extra. When they come together, they make a perfect fit, creating a stable whole. This is the story of ionic bonds in chemistry, a dance of electron transfer between atoms, resulting in a strong and fundamental force that shapes the world around us. In this introductory video on inorganic chemistry, we explore ionic compounds, their nomenclature, and Lewis structure in a clear and engaging way. Whether you are a student navigating the complexities of naming conventions or an enthusiast looking for a concise refresher, this video is designed to make these fundamental concepts approachable and easy to understand. With a step-by-step approach, we break down the learning process into simple, engaging parts, making it accessible for beginners and enjoyable for all. Hello everyone, I'm Akhilanand Singh. I hope you enjoyed my previous video on covalent compounds where we explored their nomenclature, formulas and structure. If you haven't seen it yet, be sure to check it out after this one. Let's begin with revising the important and almost universal octet rule. The octet rule states that almost all atoms tend to gain, lose or share electrons with other atoms to achieve a stable configuration with 8 valence electrons resembling the electronic configuration of noble gases. But there are some exceptions to this rule. Hydrogen aims to form a duet because its nearest noble gas helium has only 2 electrons. Transition metals often achieve stability with 18 electrons. Sometimes elements like boron and aluminium form compounds with fewer than 8 electrons, and elements phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, arsenic, selenium, bromine, etc. accommodate more than 8 electrons in the valence shell. Since we are discussing ionic compounds, we must know what ions are. In general, the electrons in the outermost shell or the valence shell determine how an atom behaves in chemical reactions. While the number of protons in the nucleus never changes, some valence electrons are easily gained or lost by atoms. Every atom in the normal state has a neutral overall charge with an equal number of positively charged protons and negatively charged electrons. When it gains or loses an electron, the atom no longer remains neutral. It becomes negatively or positively charged. A charged atom is called an ion. Electrons being negatively charged, the atom that gains them becomes negative ion. Such an ion is called an anion. An atom that loses electrons becomes positively charged and it is called a cation. Metal elements tend to lose electrons and become cations. For example, a neutral sodium atom has 11 protons and 11 electrons. With the electronic configuration of 281, its valence shell has only one electron. It tries to lose this single electron to attain a stable octet. Losing one electron leaves it with one less negative charge than the positive charges, and it becomes a cation with overall charge of +1. Non-metals tend to gain electrons and become anions. They do so to reach a stable octet. For example, an oxygen atom with 8 protons and 8 electrons has neutral overall charge. Its valence shell has 6 electrons. It has a tendency to gain 2 electrons to complete its electron octet in the valence shell. Gaining 2 electrons causes it to have 2 more electrons than protons. With 2 negative charges, it becomes an anion with overall charge of -2. Ion formation patterns. In general, elements form ions according to the following pattern. Alkali metals in group 1 give up their single electron to become cations with +1 charge. Alkaline earth metals in group 2 give up 2 electrons to become cations with +2 charge. Group 3 elements give up 3 electrons to become +3 charge cations. Non-metals in group 17 need just 1 electron to complete their valence shell. They gain 1 electron and become anions with -1 charge. Group 16 elements gain 2 electrons to become anions with -2 charge. Group 15 elements gain 3 electrons to become anions with -3 charge. All remaining metal elements produce at least one ion with charge of +2. How is an ionic bond formed? It is a three-step process. Atoms lose or gain electrons to attain their stable octet. They become ionized while doing so. The electrostatic force of attraction between the cation and the anion holds them together. This force is the ionic bond. Most of the rocks and minerals in the Earth's crust are made of positive and negative ions held together by ionic bonding. Ionic compounds generally have high melting and boiling points, are solid at room temperature, and often dissolve in water to form conductive solutions. Writing the names, formula and structure of ionic compounds. Rules governing the nomenclature. Rule 1. First cation, then anion. Rule 2. Use id suffix with the anion. Rule 3. Do not use prefixes like mono, di, tri, tetra, etc. to mention the number of atoms. Metals and non-metals generally do not combine in multiple ratios, hence it is not required to mention the number of atoms as prefixes. Rules governing the chemical formula. Rule 1. Use subscripts to write the number of atoms of cations and anions. Rule 2. The overall charge of an ionic compound must be 0. Do not worry about the complex formula written on the screen, we will get to it once we go through examples. Rules governing the Lewis structure. Show each ion with charge written as a superscript to clearly indicate its ionic nature. There are three types of ionic compounds. Binary ionic compounds, ionic compounds involving metals with variable oxidation state, and ionic compounds with polyatomic ions. The most basic ionic compounds are created using atoms of only two elements, one metal and the other non-metal, and they are called binary ionic compounds. In the examples that follow in this video, we explore the nomenclature, chemical formula, and Lewis structure of various such compounds. Example 1. In this example, we start with the name sodium chloride, derive its chemical formula, and then draw its Lewis structure. First, we consult the periodic table to identify sodium as a metal and chlorine as a non-metal, indicating they form an ionic bond. This tells us that sodium chloride follows the nomenclature, formula, and Lewis structure rules for ionic compounds. The naming convention for ionic compounds follows a cation plus anion pattern, with the anion typically ending with the suffix IDE. The name sodium chloride adheres to this convention, with sodium as a cation and chloride as an anion. To determine the formula, we examine the ionic charges of sodium and chlorine, which are +1 and -1 respectively. This means one sodium cation and one chloride anion combine to form a neutral compound with an overall charge of 0. The formula rule uses subscripts to indicate the number of each ion. Since one atom of each is sufficient, the formula comes out to be Na1Cl1. By convention, subscripts of 1 are omitted, simplifying the formula to NaCl. For the Lewis structure, we represent the ions with their charges as superscripts Na plus and Cl minus. Example 2. Magnesium oxide. This time as well, we start with the name magnesium oxide, derive its chemical formula, and then draw its Lewis structure. Checking the periodic table, we identify that magnesium is a metal and oxygen is a non-metal, indicating they form an ionic bond. We see that the name magnesium oxide adheres to the convention of ionic compounds, following a cation plus anion naming pattern, with the anion typically ending with the suffix IDE. To determine the formula, we examine the ionic charges of magnesium and oxygen, which are +2 and -2 respectively. This means a combination of one magnesium cation and one oxygen anion will form a neutral compound with an overall charge of 0. The formula rule guides to use subscripts to indicate the number of each ion. Since one atom of each ion is sufficient, the formula is MgO. For the Lewis structure, we represent the ions with their charges as superscripts, as shown on the screen. Example 3. CaF2. In this example, we start with the formula CaF2. From the formula, we derive the chemical name and then draw the Lewis structure. Checking the periodic table, we identify that calcium is a metal and chlorine is a non-metal, indicating they form an ionic bond. This assures that the compound obeys the nomenclature, formula, and Lewis structure rules of ionic compounds. We know that the naming convention of ionic compounds follows a cation plus anion pattern, with the anion typically ending with the suffix IDE. Conforming to this rule, we arrive at the name calcium fluoride. For the Lewis structure, we see the presence of one calcium and two fluorine atoms in the formula. So we draw one calcium ion with its charge +2 in center and surround it with two fluorine ions with their charge -1 each. Example 4. In this example, we derive the chemical formula for a compound found by aluminium and sulfur, then we draw its structure and name it according to standard nomenclature. Aluminium, a post-transition metal, and sulfur, a non-metal, form an ionic compound conforming to the rules for the nomenclature, formula, and Lewis structure of ionic compounds. To determine the chemical formula, we consider the ionic charges. Aluminium has a charge of +3 and sulfur has a charge of -2. To achieve a neutral compound, the total positive and negative charges must balance. Using the crisscross method, the charge of the anion sulfur becomes the subscript of the cation aluminium, giving Al2. In the same way, the charge of the cation aluminium becomes the subscript for the anion sulfur, giving S3. Thus, the chemical formula is Al2S3 with the cation written first. To verify, we calculate the total charge. The total charge of two aluminium cations will be 2 multiplied by +3, that is +6. and that of the 3 sulfur anions will be 3 multiplied by -2, that is 6 negative charges. The sum is 0, confirming that Al2S3 is a neutral ionic compound. We can draw the Lewis structure on the basis of the formula. For that, we place 2 aluminium atoms one after another, surrounded by 3 sulfur atoms as shown on the screen. Each aluminium atom has 3 valence electrons and the sulfur has 6. The 2 aluminium atoms will transfer 2 electrons each to 2 sulfur atoms. After this, both aluminium atoms will be left with 1 valence electron each, which they transfer to the third sulfur atom. This way, all 3 sulfur atoms get full octet. Both aluminium atoms too will be left with 8 electrons each in their penultimate shell, achieving stable octets. By transferring 3 electrons each, aluminium will acquire +3 charge and becomes a cation. All 3 sulfur atoms will become anions with -2 charge after receiving 2 electrons each. We show the same in the Lewis diagram. For naming, the compound follows the ionic nomenclature rules, which state that cation is named first, followed by the anion with suffix IDE. Thus, the compound is named aluminium sulfide. Remember that prefixes like mono, di, or tri are not used in ionic compounds. That's all for this video. In subsequent videos of this series, we will explore examples of compounds featuring metals with variable oxidation states and those containing polyatomic ions. Thank you.